I'm sitting here and I'm just eating a cucumber. I don't dip it in anything. I don't put salad dressing on it. I just like God's fruits. And sometimes I wonder, what did the fruits taste like before this criminal cartel network of the people who killed Jesus Christ came onto this planet? And if you don't believe that they've changed the genetics of everything around us, take a look at a dog. Every dog comes from a wolf. Take a look at a cat, a lion. Every cat comes from the lion. Noah's Ark only had a few species, and they were God's species. And man has been playing God for so many years. We've created our own fruit trees. Probably the apple tree is a genetically engineered fruit. There's no telling what we're actually eating. But I know one thing, when I eat a cucumber, you actually gravitate a taste towards raw, godlike foods, especially if you have God in your life. When you truly have God in your heart and in your mind, and both minds or left and right brain are just working in harmony, and you're journeying towards your life journey of God and truth, and you eat God's fruit and you just taste this amazing taste, and it's like your cells in your body are celebrating. And I listened to a scientist one time. He was a doctor, and he was talking about food and nutrition and colas and how toxic they were. And he said, for example, if you eat a candy bar, what happens, as soon as you take a bite, your mouth is very systemic. And everything that goes in your mouth, kind of like fluoride toothpaste. And it says, danger, do not swallow. Well, the doctors who invented the fluoride know that as soon as you put the fluoride in your mouth, it goes directly to your blood system, and then that calcifies your endocrine system, which weakens your immunity. There is nothing more toxic than aluminum waste that they identified as fluoride. So that's why when you hear these diseases like ADD and ADHD, you have to understand this is an invented disease that is a result of the fluorides. And they have to create a name for it because they feel like that they're gods of the planet. So anyway, getting back to the cucumber. Well, when you eat a piece of chocolate, what happens, the doctor said, is that your cells are dying. Millions of cells are just dying. And that sensation makes people feel like that they're getting something. It's satisfying their taste buds. It's not really satisfying their taste buds. The taste buds hate it. But their brain is saying, I'm getting off on all these dead cells that are just firing off, and the killing of the cells is what people have become accustomed to in their foods. If they don't eat the food and their cells die, then they don't believe that they've got any satisfaction. That's why most people eat a cucumber and they go, oh, yuck. Well, if you can eat a raw cucumber or raw vegetables and you think yummy, like I do, then you know you have God in your life. If you eat it and you taste it and you say, I don't like that, then you know that you have Satan in your life. Because God truly makes you love what He created. And even if He didn't create it, He makes you love the closest thing to His creation that's on the earth. And as you choose to eat these foods, your cells are like dancing, they're celebrating, they're just like having a great time. Notice when you eat chocolate or you drink alcohol, you get loopy, you get reactions from it. And not only that, and when you eat chocolate, you crash. Well, after killing all those cells, your body has to rest. It's got to recover, it's got to replace those cells. So this is the fictional illusion, this delusional reality, living in the world of the evil matrix that people have to break away from. There is nothing true about the medical industry. Your doctors are giving you pills, they don't know what's in the pills. They have no clue. They're giving you shots, they don't know what's in the shots. They just trust the pharmaceutical companies, and they sign a Hippocratic oath to say, okay, I'm going to lie to the people, and I'm going to obey like a master the pharmaceutical corporations. That's all that they're doing. Now, these people cannot be any more psychopathic when they figure out that these poisons, or they just ignore the fact that they're giving children and people poisons. How psychopathic can you be? I used to go on boats and things like that with doctors. Let me tell you something. They're alcoholics. They're completely psychopathic, most of them. Now, I'm not going to lie. There are good doctors out there, but most of them are just numb to the world. They're kind of like a religion. They see themselves as separate entities. They believe that they're part of a cult, a group, and in which they are. They're part of the Hippocratic Oath cult. Now, some doctors break away from it, but you know what's happening to these people. You've got gang stalking, and they're being harassed, and they're being blacklisted and lawsued, and all kind of terrible things are happening to these people. Thrown in prison. The IRS is coming after them. Things like that, because they're not conforming to the system of the kill people network. Or, like most doctors, they just ignore that they're killing people. Well, I can't focus on that. I've got to go, hang out on my boat and go enjoy my Sunday. How can you relax when you're killing people? You see, what's happened is you lost your conscience, Mr. Doctor. You've lost it. You should be telling the people, do not eat chocolate because it's poison. And if you eat God's fruits, trust me, you adapt a taste for them. You see, the more that you call towards God, the more, even if you eat His fruits and vegetables, you're journeying towards the light. If you eat a candy bar, you're journeying towards the darkness. Everything in your life is the light, the darkness, God or money, rich or wealthy, or living with in harmony with the land. Loving Mother Earth, protecting Mother Earth, instead of raping and pillaging her, like these oil companies did. And the oil companies control the pharmaceutical companies. And the pharmaceutical companies control your governments. And Hollywood, and their secret societies. Because if everybody woke up tomorrow, then they wouldn't make any money. If everybody right now found God, number one, you wouldn't pay interest. Because God says, number two, you wouldn't pay taxes. Jesus didn't pay taxes. He hated tax collectors. He didn't hate them. I don't think he had hate in his life. But he wanted to teach the tax collectors that what they were doing was very, very wrong. So he invited them to dinner, and he tried to teach them about his Father in truth. Some of them listened, some of them didn't. So guys, I've said this to so many people. Eat God's foods. If God doesn't make it, don't eat it. Don't put it in your mouth. And what will happen, you will grow accustomed to eating His foods. You will crave His foods. Because as the globalists take away God's foods, we're going to need people who crave these foods instead of the candy bars like the globalists make, or the potato chips, all these processed foods that they make that are satanistic foods, killing brain cells. Their objection is to kill you and keep you sick so that you'll go to the serpent that's strangling the tree of life medical industry and bow down to Satan and say, give me a pill so you can mask this illness. I don't want to be conscious when I eat a candy bar and all my cells die. I don't want to be conscious when I take the pill and my cells die. I want something to cover up and to mask my sinning nature. I want to live like a zombie so I can sin and just kind of ignore the place in life that I am and ignore the journey towards the light. Doc, I'm so dumb, I'm dumber than a tree. Because at least a tree knows how to reach for the light its whole life. This is what the tree of life is, and this is why a snake in the medical industry is climbing up the tree of life, strangling it. This is why an apple is in your education system, the symbol of the serpent. This is why a serpent is in your medical industry, in your dental industry, in pyramids and rings of Saturn in your car companies. Look at Toyota, ring of Saturn, ring of Saturn, ring of Saturn. Look at GM. What happens when the globalists are fighting GM and the bailouts and all this chaos was going on? They dropped Saturn because they said, hey, I'm dropping this Illuminati satanic ritual car company. That people blindly went and bought a Satan car because they don't realize that the worship of Saturn is the worship of Satan. The symbols are all over the place. It's on AT&T. I could go on forever, but that's not the objection. The objection of this broadcast is people start eating God's food. You will grow a taste. Everything in the world doesn't have to look good, taste good, and feel good. And by the way, once you move into God's realm, you'll start believing in the opposite of what the television teaches you. The television will say, cook your food to death, and you'll go, well, no, it tastes better raw. And your brain cells will start saying, yeah, I want some of that raw food. I don't want it cooked. I don't want it microwaved and nucleated. I want some raw food. And then your brain's going to say, you know, when I eat that raw food, my cells gravitate towards the Lord. It is all of a sudden an enlightening happens in my mind because I'm eating God's foods. I'm growing God's gardens. I'm caring for God's animals. And I'm no longer paying a house note and giving gifts to the kings every month and kissing their feet and bowing down to the kings, buying cars that you can't afford. People, take your money right now and go get a house that you can afford. I don't care if you got $25,000 and 5 kids. Go build a house and you guys just camp out. And I promise you, you'll find the Lord and you'll save this planet from what these people are about to do to your children. What do you think it's going to be suffering if you live in a small tent or a little house? And people aren't going to like you and they're going to laugh at you. Well, listen, people laughed at Noah. People laughed at Moses for giving up his riches. People laughed at Jesus Christ. The stories that you hear about Jesus Christ, that's all miracle, this, and people fall. Let me tell you something. The man faced some serious chaos. He went into the cities and they were screaming, crucify him, crucify him. You need to wake up to reality. Yet the high priest changed Christianity and they control it. So unless you have God in your life and you read the Bible, the words of truth don't come off the paper. And when you eat the chocolate candy bar, the words of truth still don't come off the paper because your body's so busy trying to replace the cells that you killed. It's trying to survive. It's in survival mode and you're stressed out all the time because you're eating poison all the time. Nowadays with chemtrails and smart meters and radiation, you're just toxic 24 hours a day. You literally have to take an axe and go cut the electricity off your house to even have any type of peace or stress relief. Because the house is one big toxic chemical. Look, alternating current is a joke. Tesla's current was free and it traveled through the air just like a wireless internet. Alternating current is designed to make you extremely sick. It is a weapon of mass destruction in your house. That's why people, when they get house written, they never leave the house. They're stuck in the house. Because they can't leave. They're stuck. They're so sick that they just stay sick and eventually they die in their house. Yeah, it might take them 20 years to die. But what kind of life is just laying in a bed all day watching a television set? That's not a life. Get out. Take your shoes off. Ground yourself to Mother Earth in the Schumann resonance. Match your resonance with your resonance instead of living in a home that has dirty energy surrounding you. And your body and your resonance energy of your body is constantly trying to fight off the resonance of the wires inside your house. As the government permit office says, oh, this is the way you build a house. Yeah, it is a weapon is what they built. And you have to follow the code or you're fine. You have to build a weapon for your family to live in or guess what? They tear it down. You either live in the weapon of destruction or they tear it down. And with that smart meter, it is increased tremendously a weapon of destruction. Now you got almost UVB and X-rays flowing through your home. Chemtrails, it's reflecting the sun and turning it into UVB and UVC radiation that's flowing right through the roof of your house. You go outside, your skin starts burning on fire. And with Fukushima radiation, you go out in the rain and your skin burns and itches from the radiation that's in the cloud. And you people actually trust the pills that you're putting in your mouth, the processed foods. What you don't understand, the people who created Fukushima, it wasn't God, it was people, evil people that blew probably dynamite underneath the ocean or used the HARP weapon. Weather modification, geoengineering, weather warfare. Read about it. It's very real. It's on government, Congress-approved documents. And the document and the documentation is in every country in the world. And you're still in denial? In every country they approved geoengineering. But, oh no, that's just planes. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What is wrong with this picture? Well, the TV says everything stays the same. Soft kitty, warm kitty, right? And, you know, you got the newscasters dancing in the street while they're lying to you and their lips are moving. They're just lying. Liars. Paid liars. Here's your world. Either you live in this world, which is fictional, or you live in this world, which is reality. God's world. It's your choice. Money or God. You cannot serve two masters. And then popularity with the world is the enemy of God. So if you're working for a popular company, organization, you're at a popular religious group that's always asking for money, then that group is the enemy of God. You've got a popular football team, men battling men, then that is the enemy of God. They built it to be the enemy of God. Men battling men. Sure, I used to love sports. I still love sports. To a point. But when I watch it, I see that it's very corrupt. Las Vegas controls what happens, especially in the playoffs. I've never seen something so fake. All of a sudden, the quarterback's a rising star. Next thing you know, he's a fumbling idiot. Those things don't happen unless they're paid actors and liars staging an event to fool the masses. So go ahead and put that processed food in your mouth and kill those brain cells. Go ahead and put those pills in your mouth and kill the brain cells. Keep on living in darkness. Look, you don't even have to break God's laws that are written in your head to sin. All you got to do is eat some chocolate. You know, they joke around and say it's sinful. No, it's not a joke. It is a sinful thing to eat. You're eating Satan's food. You're unpurifying your body. Why did Jesus go in the desert for 40 days and face the devil? There wasn't no devil. There wasn't no snake out there. He faced himself. He purified his body and his mind. He didn't drink food or water for 40 days. He purified his body. Because the body is a filter system, and it will get rid of all this crap if you stop putting it in your mouth. So you're sitting there fighting, trying to lose weight, trying to look good, trying to look like a movie star. Well, they don't eat what you eat, trust me. They have a very strict diet, and they're under contract to follow that diet, to exercise and to follow that diet. They have to, or they lose their fictional fame and fortune, and they don't get to walk on the Satanistic red carpet. And they don't get to transform your children's mind into Satanism. You see, this is what they love to do. It is a cult. It is a group. A very evil organization. And as soon as they step out of line and get a conscience, well, they kill those people. God bless.